The Old Man Orange Podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunigan.
Did you happen to get the new Batman movie that came out today?
What? Is it Bad Blood? That didn't come out yet, did it?
No, not that one. It was like
which
it was the second one of the Batman Unlimited ones.
Oh no, I didn't check that out now.
No, yeah, that came out today. I actually already just watched it when I was kind of waiting, but it's actually a really good one. Like, well, the last one was good too, but you got to kind of go into it because I think some people they go into them expecting a very serious Batman movie, pretty much just like the DCU ones.
Well, I didn't expect it from looking at that trailer. Not from looking at that trailer, I didn't expect a serious one.
No, well, I mean, it's more just kind of made for kind of like kids, yet adults can still enjoy it. It's more just toned down for kids. But this one right here was, I don't know, even better. Like, I thought the story was really good in it. The characters are really good. I mean, you get to see Red Robin, Nightwing, Green Arrow, and Batman all working together to fight off. In this one, they do have the Joker in it once again, as always. But I thought the story was kind of different instead. It was one of those.
I noticed what they are starting they're trying to do like the Brave and the Bold thing, like bring in like all these weird random ass characters, like Well, I think they're also trying to introduce them to newer characters like Red Robin and all that.
Yeah, well, it's just kind of it's like just sort of different, Mostly, you get just regular Robin and so on. Red Robin almost never gets any screen time, if you think about it. He's kind of the lost character in the Batman universe, so I'm glad to see him finally used again, too.
Mm-hmm. Was he in the previous one?
Yeah, he was. It's like in the last one, too.
And he's going to be in Bad Blood, isn't he? Isn't he going to be in Bad Blood?
I can't remember.
Because the next big DCU movie, it's all kind of like focusing on like the Battle for the Cowl story, which I never read, but I know it's some Grant Morrison stuff, and they're kind of like doing the whole a little bit more of the Dick Grayson Batman and like Damian Robin stuff again.
Yeah, so they're going with that one. This one just sort of it's got regular Batman, Tim Drake's Red Robin, Dick Grayson is Nightwing, and then Green Arrow's just there, which is just cool anyways, because Green Arrow fits so well in the Batman, so why not? And what happens is just like Joker's just kind of does this thing where he like captures this fucking like young punk like early 20s kid who's like this grand video game designer who's like, make me a fucking virus, and slaps him around, and then has him create the Joker virus to take over the world, or one of those kind of grand scheme things, which in turn ends up shutting down all the electronics in Gotham. So then,
so it's a little bit of kind of like Scott Snyder stuff. Well,
not even
Zero Year.
Yeah, but that's like much later. You'd almost say more like No Man's Land.
I was looking for that. I always get No Man's Land and Nightfall kind of mixed up.
Yeah, so it is sort of like that, which is kind of cool. There's even a part where Batman has to end up battling the Batmobile itself because it's taken over by the Joker, and then Nightwing's like fighting the Batwing and everything like that. And then
That's pretty cool.
Poor Cyborg's in there too, and he's getting controlled too. He's like, I don't want to kill you, but the Joker's making me.
I can see some, yeah. Like I could see them just trying to bring in a bunch of just sorry, I ain't here today. Just trying to bring in a lot more of kind of like, because they're trying to put like Cyborg a lot more in people's face. They're trying to put like Arrow and Flash in people's face a lot more. So they're probably just trying to pep them up for the movies and all that,
Yeah, I don't even. Yeah.
Then this also had like a weird ragtag group of villains. Like, wasn't like Solomon Grundy one of the main ones?
Yeah, Solomon Grundy was. Which see, I just kind of noticed it. I'm like, Solomon Grundy, he's in like more things than a lot of other Batman villains. He's like always there. It's like there's a Justice League one. Like, well, who's Batman's villain? Well, I'll throw Solomon Grundy in there. Everybody likes the kids love the big zombie guy.
Well, he for a while he just seemed like so random of a character. I don't even think he was in the animated series. He was in Justice League, but he wasn't in the animated series. I don't think he might have been.
I don't think he was either.
And then like he was in like there's Super Friends, and that's just he was just there, but I didn't know who the fuck he was at the time. So now I don't know. I can't help whenever they start throwing these characters in there. I can't help but thinking like, all right, they're getting ready to throw these guys in a movie or do something like that. I can't help but get that vibe.
Well, this one they had Clayface in it too. Scarecrow, which is probably just a tie-in with Arkham Knight, and then they had the Banshee or whatever that lady's name is.
Silver Banshee.
Yeah, that one.
That's a Superman one.
But there's a scene in there that's one of the coolest Batman scenes I think I've ever seen in any Batman movie, comic, or
That's
anything.
high praise.
Okay, so all the electronics are down or whatever, and Joker at one point has this kind of Joker robot walking around because he controls everything. He controls electricity, and there's actually this part that's kind of like I kind of liked it because it was kind of different. I mean, once again, it's kind of appealing to kids, but I thought it was a cool way to go about it, where the Scarecrow goes like, "Okay, money is not currency. We don't care about currency. What we'll give you is time. You give us information on Green Arrow, Batman, one of the superheroes. We'll give you we'll let you run your car for a bit. You know." We'll let you watch TV for, a couple of days. And you could just see if there'd be, fucked up people out there be like, yeah, okay, I got this. I know what Batman is. I want my TV back. I just thought that was kind of cool because I'd never seen that in a movie where that's...
I need my U-porn. I need to...
Well, they even do one, too, where they're somebody's like, if you take a snapshot on your cell phone of a superhero, we'll let you play your video games. And then they kind of make the thing, because they make Red Robin out like he's almost like the kid of the group. He's like, oh, sweet, and Green Arrow just looks at him and is like, don't you fucking do that. I'll fucking beat the shit out of you right here in the Batcave. I don't give a fuck.
I would even get the image. I understand they're trying to make him the kid, but I would even get the image even I know they write him that way. I would really see Tim Drake, Dick Grayson, or Dick Grayson when he was younger, or Barry Allen. Not Barry Allen. Wally West. I would see him not really giving a shit about video games. Yeah, I go out and fight crime and punch supervillains and fly and shit. I don't fucking need that.
Well, that's how I've always felt. I know that they throw those kind of lines sometimes in there to be like, relate, kids, relate, everybody.
Relate or whatever.
It's like that, but this is what I always feel. Video games have no purpose if your life is pretty much cooler than a video game. What video games are made for is to escape from, boredom, in a sense.
Yeah.
I always said, if your life was... Batman and Robin, you wouldn't have time to play video games or anything like that. Well, there is one way. I remember it was one of the Nightwing ones, the way that they Tim Drake was written in that one.
Is this Man-Wing?
Yeah, this isn't a Man-Wing
just
one.
Wearing the
even though he wasn't really in full on Man-Wing mode at this point, but they wrote Tim Drake in I think I explained this to you once, where he's like, I do this Robin thing for 10 hours a day. That's all it is. After that, I go home and I do regular stuff. I relax, I enjoy life. And to me, being Robin's a job. And he looks at Nightwing and Batman. He's like, to you guys, it's a fucking lifestyle. It's you don't know any better. Mm-hmm. And so that's sort of the difference. But okay, let me get back to the coolest Batman scene, or not the coolest, but a high praise Batman scene. So all the electronics are down or whatever, and I guess in the beginning they kind of there's a museum section where they're normal fight villains in the museum, blah 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 blah. Well, it comes back around that Batman comes flying in a P-51 Mustang, World War II one.
Are you kidding? Really?
And just starts fucking unloading on the Joker robot. And then after that, you see both Nightwing and Red Robin. They come in on World War II motorcycles. And then to finally top it off, you got Green Arrow rolling in a World War II tank because none of them have computer parts in it.
Oh,
and in this Batman world, it's supposed
to
be kind of Blade Runner-ish. It's a little bit futuristic. So cops have, there's flying cars, everything's maybe
RoboCop,
10, 15,
kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, it reminds me a lot like that, very 80s kind of futuristic style to it. But yeah, I just thought that was just a cool scene. You just watching Batman flying around in this P-51 Mustang, and then Joker escapes and he's flying away, and he's still following them in the plane. And I was just like, dude, I never even thought about that, but that's just really cool.
That sounds like something. I know I've been saying his name a lot just because I'm actually, rather than waiting for the graphic novel to come out, I just kind of went and been reading on Comixology, Scott Snyder's current run. That really sounds to me just kind of sort of Scott Snyder-ish kind of right there. Batman going and getting some old 1940s kind of equipment, using that to bat, just some weird imagery like that. Something kind of, I know it's not the same thing, but I guess it's kind of something. It's an image that sticks out. It's not something you always see, but it kind of makes sense for the occasion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's when he in Zero Year, when he had the Bat Blimp, which sounds silly when you hear it in the book in the context. Actually, that was kind of cool the way how he used that.
Well,
they even made a joke about in the current run about, he was talking to Alfred. He was saying, how far away are we from the Bat train? This Bat monorail, trademark pending.
Well, there's also another part that's it's almost like Neil Adams-ish in it, because they have that kid that creates video games that the Joker captures, Well, Batman has to go into the virtual world, which kind of I think it ties into like an Oculus Rift. It's like, hey kid, you know you want an Oculus Rift, right? Well, here's Batman in a fucking Oculus Rift. And so Batman goes into it, and this is what the Joker's like in there hiding, and he's fucking riding a mechanical T-Rex, chasing down the Joker. It sounds kind of, but it's like that's fucking badass. Who doesn't want to see the Batman riding a fucking T-Rex shooting lasers?
There is the occasional like, was it supposed to be the T-Rex from his cave? Because I know he has that.
No, it wasn't that. I think you just kind of.
I like whenever they
in a virtual
incorporate
reality world, so it wasn't like physical items.
There's some Paul Dini stuff where he actually that thing had like a, I think it was like a Paul Dini book with Hush in it or something, and he actually had the thing go like an attack mode. It just like Signal Rexy, like pushes a button, the thing's like comes in, starts like fucking like chasing Hush down.
I think I remember that. That was like the one. It was the Hush. What was it called? I can't. Well, whatever.
Heart of Hush.
Yeah, Heart of Hush. There we go.
Where he like cuts Catwoman's heart out, and then like Batman has to get it back or whatever.
But no, this Batman Unlimited one, I would go out and get it. It's pretty darn cool. I mean, it's just one of those ones like it's toned down enough that it's not like dark like the other ones. But you know, if you like Batman, I always feel like you should like the full spectrum of Batman, where you can appreciate sort of the campiness, you can appreciate the kids sort of Batman, you can appreciate the adult and the serious Batman.
Yeah. I'm gonna apologize if I seem a little off today because I noticed you're like super energetic. You got to see this thing. I'm like, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, you just says look like.
Nice. Oh,
yeah, not serious Batman. Don't give a fuck because it's not made for me.
I'll check it out. Kind of. I do have a little bit of that, but I'm sure if I watched it, it would be good. But it's more than anything. Just it was a really busy, crazy day. I'm like, man, it's just shit's kind of crazy right now. We should probably do a podcast just so I can just like let off some steam. Now I'm here. I'm just like, I got nothing to fucking talk about. So I'm like, Spencer, what the fuck do we do? What the fuck are you doing?
I just sound like the uninterested friend at the moment where I'm just kind of like, oh, you went to Disneyland? Fucking gay.
Yeah, kind of. Something like that, probably. Something to the effect of like, oh, you saw that movie? I didn't.
Yeah. I just sat around and kind of bent my rabbit ears on my TV back and forth all day.
Did you watch anything? Did you just stay to see if like anything came through? Like, were you trying to catch a certain show? No, I just felt like doing it.
I kind of hoped the lightning bolt was going to hit me while I was doing it, but didn't happen.
Maybe either way, I would have died, or like maybe I could have sued PG&E, got some money. Either way, win for me, right? Yeah. No, it's don't take this as like a plea for help or like, oh, I'm so sad. Don't take it. Have you ever had like one of those weeks, or I guess in this case 2 of those weeks, where you're just kind of like, don't take this as me like crying or reaching out for help. Like this is what he meant. This is what he was talking about. Like months later, but no.
He tied himself to that giant antenna on the top of San Francisco up there and tried to get. It's like, hit me, God, hit me, Zeus, hit me, Thor. I don't give a fuck anymore.
It's Citro Tower. There would be also that one guy who's just like, yeah, I lost my cell phone signal for like 5 hours because some asshole had to climb that tower.
Yeah.
Fucking selfish prick. I don't know why he's talking on New Yorker in San Francisco. He's a transplant.
Yeah, he flew in for the weekend, lost cell phone signal for 5 hours. He's pissed. He's from New York.
This is why I hate coming to San Francisco. Some liberal yahoo's always climbing some fucking tower, killing my cell phone signal. No, it's one of those things like, it's one of those things where it's like, have you ever been to that point where you've been like, depressed is maybe too strong of a word, but just kind of like, I can't, for lack of a better word, contently depressed. Kind of like, I should do this, I should do that, but fuck it. Netflix sounds good enough right now. Do you ever have that happen where you're just kind of like stuck in the grind?
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I get depressed a lot. It sounds like a weird thing because mostly like I play a good character of like being like very happy.
Bottle it up on the yeah.
But like I'm not gonna, like there literally gets those points where I'll just be laying there on the floor like, what's the point? Why even try? And then after about 10 minutes, I'm like, I better get up and start animating something. Fuck, Jesus Christ, this is horrible.
I've been kind of getting home kind of later to the point where it's kind of like I have to get up early the next day anyway, so I don't have time to animate or draw anything. So I kind of get home and just be like, fuck it. What's Sons of Anarchy going on? I could go probably walk down the street, possibly get some human contact and get some food. Just leave the But no, I'm just gonna call it. I'm gonna like call pizza. Fucking good enough, right? I don't have to leave my house that way. Don't have to fucking talk to anybody, make eye contact. It's fine that way.
Yeah, mine almost sounds more sad because like mine doesn't have any of that like extra contact or extra TV. It's just more just sometimes it's just like you just lay there like
Staring at a wall.
fuck things, shit.
Are you like Wilson Fisk looking at that wall in like Daredevil?
Yeah, I'm sort of like that where it's just like that. Even though mostly I don't look at it. Well, I guess I do look at the wall. Sometimes I like stare at the posters around in my room and go, inspire me. Come on now.
You just like stare at it like, God damn it, Chris Claremont picture. Why aren't you inspiring me? Or not? He didn't draw it, but he.
But he
it's
autographed
from a
it.
story of his. It's from a story of his with Wolverine with the Frank Miller story. Whatever, fuck, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah.
But no, yeah, no, it's like I get like that quite often too. It sounds strange, but it's like I feel like that person who can almost go from being extraordinarily happy just to being like that. Like, what's the point? Why
That's
even
what I thought.
try? Why even turn that TV on? What sort of excitement is that going to even bring me? And then sometimes it sounds weird, but I almost get inspired from depression, sort of like after like a good moment of depression, then you just start feeling like, well, fuck, I can't make life turn out shitty like this anyways. Got to get better, right? Okay, well, let's start doing something. And then I kind of get.
Then I'll put on like another podcast. I'll put on like maybe like Smodcast. Not even like something like Smodcast, like something like Casimirith. And I started listening a little bit of Bold and Belligerent. And like, man, these guys are good. I don't think we're as good as them, but whatever. I don't, fuck it. What's the point anymore? You do reach that point, but then later you come on, and you're just like, oh, fuck it. It doesn't really, it kind of like, you kind of know it comes in waves. If this lasts any longer, it's already kind of starting to fade. But if it lasts any longer than a month, then maybe it's like, oh, maybe I should start like fucking talk about this. So getting medical attention, not medical, but like, fucking psychiatric help or whatever, but no, I don't think it's the case, really.
That point when you start like walking on top of buildings and like just kind of doing some daredevil stunts over the edge, but not really because you plan on doing anything with it. You're just like, whatever. If I fall, I die. It's okay. Thor's got a plan for me.
Pretty much. Yeah, and there is a lot of tall buildings around here, so that leaves that option's always there.
Well, I remember when I lived in San Francisco.
That's an upside.
When I lived in San Francisco, I used to hang out on top of the building all the time. It wasn't until like I left San Francisco that I heard that you're not really supposed to be up there on top of the buildings, and I was like, that was like my hangout spot was fucking on top of the building. It was great. I loved the top of the building.
Yeah.
Like I used to.
There's this one friend of mine down the road who has rooftop parties every once in a while. Somebody always almost falls off. But I haven't been. One time someone did. I wasn't there for that one. But yeah.
I remember just like hanging on the edge there, like trying to get like a shot of a fucking like 8mm camera one time. And I was like, you're like 9 stories up. You probably just have like somebody holding onto your leg. Like, okay, go for it.
You get an 8mm camera of the side of the back in 2000. You art school fuck.
It was funny how like it's one of those things too. It's like how you'll put yourself in a dangerous position when you know you're going to get something sweet, like a good shot out of it. Or, if it's for the movie, it's okay. It's sort of like, you would never normally jump your vehicle.
Cecil B. Demented type sense of...
yeah. Or, you'll just do these crazy stunts that like, but as long as it's on camera, then that's okay. And I guess that's kind of like, that's how kids get into bad accidents, but mostly because they're doing jackass stuff. I guess there's a difference when you feel like you're making a movie over making like some just stupid YouTube thing. I guess they're all kind of the same category.
What was the one? There's like several. It was like, we talked about this briefly before, but there's like when the Ninja Turtle movie came out, there were literally like a handful of kids. Like, I'm not sure if it was a craze, but kids like in New York literally started going into the sewers, just like, we're gonna go to jump down there, fucking die, break their neck, because they were looking for the Ninja Turtles. I'm not sure if it was like 1 or 2 dumb kids that did it, but there was this huge, like, a new thing sweeping the streets of New York, tunnel diving, inspired by the movie Ninja Turtles.
Those are those ones. It's like, okay, if any kid's dumb enough to do it, they probably deserve to die. Or not deserve to die, but we are kind of like clearing some genes here of some sort that maybe there was.
It's like the early Mortal Kombat kind of thing, like the early Mortal Kombat or Doom, like Ninja Turtles, like Suspect, like Case 01.
Or just like, oh, that Mario Brothers game came out. Kids at school are jumping on top of each other's heads. Concussions.
Well, they're always led back when you were a kid. There will always be that 1 or 2 kids that would just flat out like, I remember not Ninja Turtles. Power Rangers literally was not allowed to be played at school. They said on this loudspeaker, "You cannot play Power Rangers," because some dumbass kid got kicked in the mouth. So that always stopped them. But I remember there'd always be like back in like elementary school, there'd always be like something else like way more dangerous. Like I remember there are like these windows. Like I mean, everybody there are these kind of windows that like you pull them out diagonally and they don't open all the way. They basically just kind of crack open. But I remember it's
Oh
kind of hard to
yeah,
explain.
I know
But
what kind of
it's
windows you're
almost
talking
kind of,
about.
to put it another way, it's kind of like it's like a window. Now this may sound weird, like what the hell fuck are you trying to explain this? Kind of like a mail slot. How you kind of pull it out only so much, and there's bars kind of holding it in. It was like that, but a window, and you can kind of keep it out there. Now there are some of these windows at my old elementary school, right by the playground. And I remember kids running by, and this one time I felt so bad for this kid, but it's just one of those things like this is you're gonna like attack kids about fucking like
Power Rangers.
Ninja Turtles or like Power Rangers over when this happens. This one kid is walking by, probably one of the most bloodiest things I've seen in real life. This kid's walking, hits his side of his face across one of those windows, and it has these metal tips,
Yeah,
tips
before
at
they
the
decide to
end.
like make them nice and round it off.
And of course, it was the poor like it was a poor, short, fat kid who couldn't keep up with his other friend playing tag. It was one of those things like, you can't beat me. Like, oh, I'll get you, Tommy. You can't catch me, and then runs like ducks right underneath that. The big fat kid comes like lumbering by, hits the thing, goes down, comes up, fucking blood just gushing, running down his face. And I remember feeling bad for the kid.
But you
It
can't
just
help but
like,
laugh because it's funny yet.
and he had like this movie villain scar for. I mean, he was like a grade like ahead of me, but he had this movie villain
So what you're
scar
saying he
starting.
grew up to
It
be
cut his. It started
Jigsaw or
his lip.
something?
Yeah, yeah, no, because it literally started right at his lip, like at the corner of his mouth, and then it literally went up. So it kind of made this Joker-esque like half smile kind of thing, and it went all the way up almost to his ear. So for the rest of elementary school, I didn't really know, but I never called him this, but I always referred like, oh, Scar. I never called him that, but this kid just had this
Big
fucking
scar.
big ass scar going across his face. It was this big badass movie villain scar.
That kind of reminded me, like in that Batman Unlimited, there's a part when they're in the virtual reality game, and Joker somehow, some way, since he's in control of it at first, he makes Batman fat, and Batman's just running away like this big fat Batman, and Joker's chasing him down like, I'm gonna fucking get you, Batman. Like just like some fat kid. Made me laugh.
Is he like farting while running too, or?
Oh, don't hurt me, Joe.
He's like, I can't keep up. I can't do it.
No, chili dogs. No, no.
Any fat jokes, or is it just Batman? Just like,
Just
oh, he's
fat
still
Batman
just as
running.
serious. Just
I don't know if
just
it's one of those
fat
scenes where it's like, kids think fat people running's hilarious. Throw that in there.
they just have some very like offensive boom, 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 like music while it's going on.
Fat people music.
Whenever he falls over and farts or something,
I went on like a.
just add insult to injury. Sorry, you're going to what?
I said I was like kind of like in the similar. This will be a total like '90s episode, anyways. But I went on like a Captain Republican like old school TV show buying thing, and I bought a bunch of '90s cartoon shows of back in the day. For some reason,
You
I
are
had money.
best. Yeah, you
I had
are.
an
You are.
Amazon
You are.
account. Nothing was stopping me. Guess what I got? I got it for $6 to complete series. A classic '90s.
Can I get more than one? Can I get more than one
You get
guess?
5 guesses.
You said it was 80s or 90s. That doesn't
90s,
count as a
about
guess.
mid '90s.
90s, mid 90s. 5 guesses. Not the X-Men.
Not X-Men.
Rocco's Modern Life.
Not a Nickelodeon TV show.
Johnny Quest.
Not a Hanna-Barbera show.
Fuck. Okay, that's 3. Fuck me. Here, I thought I knew you.
It might
okay.
slightly relate to what you were talking about earlier, but not that exact same thing.
Beetleborgs? I don't fucking know.
Close, but not that.
Oh shit.
It involves
No, that was
12
No,
something.
give me some fucking credit. Give me some credit. Give me some
Okay.
credit. 90s.
Very
All of
90s. Is it
it.
extremely 90s? Let me throw that out there. Like something that you couldn't.
Extreme. Street
Yep.
Sharks?
Street Sharks.
You bought fucking Street
It was
Sharks?
$6 for 40 episodes.
Okay, well, I guess that is the value Ben deal. So, I mean, I guess, I mean, okay.
See, I saw that and I was like, I looked at it for a while too, and I was like, that's pretty sweet. I should get that at some point. Just it's like I look this way. It's like you don't have to watch all 40 episodes. I wouldn't mind just watching a handful of them just to go down memory lane of like what life was like in 1995 again.
I don't need memory. I could I'm a pretty nostalgic person. I almost don't always need all that. I mean, every once in a while I'll see something that takes me back. Like if I watch the Mario Brothers movie or something like that, it'll take me back. Or like an old Warner Brothers stuff that can take me back. But I don't know. Street Shark. I mean, that would probably definitely. I think Street Sharks will not just take me back to a certain like time. I think it would literally take me to
Certain
like
day.
a certain day, like within a month period, or like not even that, because I liked it probably more than like a month or so. But I remember I collected the figures and all that, and that's was my into this show. Then I'm like, there's a fucking show of this stuff, because I think that was one that was primarily there just
Trying
to
to
sell
sell
toys.
toys. I think that's what it was too. It's made by
I think
Dick,
the toys,
so
yeah. Dick.
yeah, Dick.
Well, I
Same
remember
company
when
made
because
Inspector
like the
Gadget and other good stuff like that.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, Sonic or
Yeah.
the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
And I remember well the title card, because at the end of every show it would be just like it was the weirdest thing just because it was a combination. It was a little kid sleeping in his bed, and the camera would pan out over the kid out into this like bright starry night. Just this one bright star would pop up. It'd be like DIC, and just like spell it out for you. A kid would be like Deke. Like no no no, we all know what it
Even as a
says.
kid, you look at it like, no, that's Dick. Don't fucking lie to me.
It's Dick.
But no,
Be like Deke. Like try to spell it out for you.
no, I was like watching like the first couple episodes on that Sewer Shark. It's like one's like it's not like it holds up well. It's still pretty good. I mean, it's not gonna say it's not like Ninja Turtles or X-Men or Batman amazing. It's definitely not on par there, but it's still very enjoyable. But I think it's just that thing like sometimes I like watching things like that because you get like this insight back into the '90s, and that show really captures it. Where something like Batman and Spider-Man and X-Men, they don't really capture the '90s in there. They capture like yes, that came out in the '90s, but doesn't have that feel like. Sewer Sharks really was a sign of the times. I mean, you got the one guy's fucking wearing rollerblades, the other guy's got neon pants on. They even had like that.
One's got the ripped jeans and the cowboy boots.
Yeah, which was always kind of like a weird one, because he was like the nerdy guy.
No, he was. I'm talking about what's the name of the main character? The blue and the straight white shark. What was he? Who was he? What was his name?
I can't remember what his.
He's been watching the show.
Yeah, I only fucking watched 2 episodes. That's like it's not all coming back.
There's the great white
there's,
shark.
like,
He was
pretty much
basically
those
the
four
Leonardo, and
guys.
he's like the jock because he had. I remember he had like the fucking ripped jeans and the cowboy boots, and he was like the main one.
No, the jock guy's actually
And
the yellow shark. The guy who's like the football player.
Big Slamoo.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, Big Slamoo.
Yeah, that guy was the guy who was like the football player prior.
He's the whale shark. He's the whale shark.
Yeah, the yellow one.
Because he has he wears like a jersey. He wears like a fucking jersey.
Because it's like they sure show them all. They're all brothers or whatnot. You got one guy who's like kind of like the nerd, I guess you could say. Cause he's
The hammerhead is the Donatello.
no, he's like the stoner like guy. Who's like the Michelangelo.
I thought that was the
I
one
guess-
with the rollerblades and the sharp hands, but that was the tiger shark. I thought that was the Michelangelo.
No, that's. Well, yeah, I guess that guy actually sort of is too. It's kind of weird.
This has to be so fucking thrilling for people to listen to. Like, hey, of all everybody listening, maybe 4 of people remember this shit.
Remember us arguing?
You do? Do you still not care? Okay.
Well, yeah, because it's like 4 brothers. So you got one guy's a jock, one guy who's kind of like a nerd, one guy who's like a stoner slacker,
They're all
and then one
jocks.
guy who's
They're all
like
jocks.
I guess sort of athletic because he's on roller skates.
Rollerblades.
Yeah, or yeah, rollerblades, not roller skates.
He was cool.
It's
He
the
was
'90s.
thick. He had
Fucking,
rollerblades.
we beat up people who are on rollerblade or roller skates.
Yeah, I just see just a bunch of like kids like rollerblades, sideways cap, like Ray-Ban sunglasses, like bright, vibrant, like aqua-colored shirts in bright pink. They see like somebody like in the 1950s kind of like roller skates, like there's one,
Get him!
Look at him go! Look at him go! Just
There's one of them disco dancing ones over there. But going up the progressive charts of these animated shows, I'm going to go from kind of like good to amazing. Okay, the next one going up, the other show I bought was the Fantastic Four one that came out in the 90s. And that one, like, because I never watched that one, because for some reason, whatever channel that came on, I don't think I had it back in good old antenna days. And it's funny because, like, I always just thought of that one, like, everybody always talked about, like, oh, well, it's kind of like the X-Men or Spider-Man of it. And then you kind of watch it, it's like, it's good, but, like, the animation's definitely not up to par compared to those other shows. Like, whatever team did this one was, like, I think it's weird because it's actually by Disney. I don't know if they own, like, the box of it, but it's Buena Vista.
Huh. Well, I know that they did have, like, some of that same world stuff. Just the Iron Man was on UPN. Same with Incredible Hulk. And all, like, X-Men and Spider-Man were just the ones people gave a shit about, or on Fox Kids. So.
Well, I think it's one of those ones, like, okay, Fox, pretty much everybody has Fox. UPN, only people that have cable have UPN. And then whatever channel the Fantastic Four came on, if it's Disney, I'm guessing it's ABC, and I thought I had ABC when I was a kid. Because isn't that what the Sonic the Hedgehog came on that too, maybe?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, so I remember watching it on there, so maybe I just, like, bypassed Fantastic Four. I don't know what. Maybe it came on.
I never saw it. I knew of it, but I never saw it.
Yeah, I've only just known of it. So this is, like, my first time kind of watching it. I mean, it's good. It's not, like, X-Men or Spider-Man good, like, quality-wise, even though this is only, like, the first episode, but most of the way these things are animated, it's not like the quality's going to change, like, throughout it, because they probably did.
This is back when they made a huge batch of them, and because they had to make toys off it and all that.
Yeah. I mean, like, story-wise and stuff, it's all good. Just, like, you just watch the animation. It just kind of has, like, some funky-looking, like, walks and movements and everything. And the thing kind of looks, the way, I don't know, he's animated strange. Like, he's almost, like, heavily cartooned, sort of. Like, in his mouth, I don't know, it's
like wide eyes.
Yeah, it's hard to describe. He's always like pushing himself in front of the camera, like, I'm so fucking awesome. Reed, check out my dick. I'm so cool. And it's like Reed's like, and where the Reed's like, yes, I got this nice yuppie voice. I'm Reed Richards. Look at me. I'm going into space.
And these two were best friends in high school.
Yeah, I know. Just the guy's like, look how Reed, look how rock hard it is. Yes, I see that there, man.
This is science!
Yes, that's the same thing you said when we were 16.
Science is fucking awesome! He doesn't have any... He's like, he got turned into, like... It's like the reverse of all the movies. When he gets turned into the Thing in the show, he's like, this is fucking awesome, dude. Now I'm always rock hard. You know? He's just like, all right, whatever. He's just really proud about that.
I know. Well, it's funny because this one had, like, some of those scenes from, like, in the movie, which must be in the first comic issue. I'm assuming if these things all start lining up, like the part where, like, the guy goes to commit suicide on the bridge in the movie, where he's like, you know, you say you got problems. Look at mine. Like, they have that, but instead somebody's like mind controlling him to jump off because it's a kid shit. They don't want to just show some guy like trying to commit suicide. Yeah. But now,
or it's like it's okay for murder, just God forbid suicide.
Yeah. Though. But that's the thing. They should make the Thing though, where he's just like loving every minute of it, and it's just playing that song in the background, like loving every minute of it, burning, just running around, fucking punching shit.
I'm just imagining, just kind of like, imagining what's it like Born to Run by Springsteen playing, just this montage of things,
just running down like a highway, like pushing cars out of the way, like not.
Baby, we're born to run, down, down,
down. Arms just flying up in the air, just like knocking things out of the way, trees, kids, dogs.
Just for 30 minutes, just for like the whole length of that entire song.
Well, progressing farther up the chart, I get to an animated series.
There's a third one.
That's, you know, I remember it being fantastic and amazing. I think it holds up even better than that.
Okay.
It's another Disney one from the 90s. You probably guess this one quickly.
Disney from the 90s.
Sort of a hidden Disney one, though. They didn't slap.
I'm gonna get. I get 5 guesses. I get 5 guesses. Okay. I don't think it's these first 3. I'm just really reaching. I'm just curious. I just want to, Quack Attack.
No, but that would have been cool if it was.
All right. That was kind of like, hey, kids, Huey, Dewey, Luke grew up, and they're pretty badass now, and they lost that not annoying high-pitched voice, Okay. Not that one. I don't think it's this one. I think I already know which one it is. I'm just gonna say this one. Darwin Duck.
Darkwing Duck?
Yeah.
No, not Darkwing. Though that was a good show too. That was like
Okay.
Disney's Batman. Well, this show more feels like it's really trying to. Yep,
Gargoyles.
Gargoyles.
I knew it was Gargoyles. I just want to take a shot in the dark and say those two. So.
And that Gargoyle show, like I only watched the first like 3 episodes so far out of it, but it's like that show's almost even better than I remember it being. Like I remember it being really good, but it's like this thing's almost like not even made for kids. It does not feel like a show made for kids whatsoever. It just feels like it's
Well, it's Shakespeare and like gargoyles and Disney shit.
yeah. Well, it's like yeah. It doesn't even feel like it's a Disney show too. It just
Not Disney shit, but I'm sorry. I'm a few drinks in. I rarely go into the podcast drunk. A few drinks
You're
in.
just
So I'm
like-
just like fucking Disney.
you were
fuck.
just sitting there going like fuck life, man. Just jump off this. Oh, Spencer wants a podcast. Oh, okay. I guess I'll come down.
Oh yeah, we can podcast.
I can always
yeah,
kill myself later.
Yeah, I can always kill myself when the microphone goes off. Why not?
Too bad that
I'm joking.
Okay.
I'm not that sad. I'm not that depressed.
that's okay.
Earlier, going back to the
Here's
conversation, just
the
to clear,
thing.
you just reach that point where you're going through all the motions of depression, yet you're not really sad about it. You're just kind of content. You're like, it's okay. Maybe if it's any longer than a month, then maybe I should probably start to worry, you know. But where you're going through the motions of depression and not even really like all like, that's fine.
I like how you throw it out there like, I'm not really depressed. I'm like, well, if you were going to kill yourself, the podcast would probably come up like 3 days afterwards anyway. So it's not like anybody could do anything about it.
He would have wanted it this way.
And in fact,
Did he actually say that? No, but I'm just gonna assume.
I know I'm good enough.
Yeah.
But no, that Gargoyle
Okay.
show, though?
He would have wanted us this a week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was very adamant about the weeks thing. But no, Gargoyles, though, it's like that show is just... I mean, it's like almost on Batman the Animated Series par of like how good that still holds up and how serious the tone is. And we've said it before that if they want to take some of that, Mickey Mouse fucking money they got in their hands and put it somewhere special, they should put it into just a live action Gargoyles thing. There's your fucking $500 million movie right there.
Well, I'm sure they probably could. I'm just thinking right now about that. I mean, I think that they're a little scared to do it. I mean, if there ever was a time to do it, it would be now, because that was for people of our generation, maybe just a little younger than us. And I think that now would be the perfect time for that because people want to take their kids to go see it. But on top of that, though, I think that if you're too close or too, because that's definitely PG-13. It's not going to be a PG.
Well, yeah,
it's gonna be a
I think they would treat it
Yeah.
in the same kind of boat as, except for not maybe nearly as comical, but like sort of like a Pirates of the Caribbean or like like a Captain America 2 or something like that.
Now, I think here's the thing. Like Marvel Studios, they have the fun PG-13 down to a science. They got that. They're great at making fun PG-13 movies that are big crowd pleasers. The Marvel's division of Disney.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to like Disney saying, okay, here's us doing another action movie, they've been having trouble ever since Pirates of the Caribbean 2. Like Pirates of the Caribbean 1, everyone loves. And that is a fantastic movie. It's a really fun movie. People say what you will about it. Oh, it's Disney. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, it's a good.
Number 2, like, well, that made a lot of fucking money, and people were like, they went to go see it, saying like, it's gonna be, it was good, not as good as number 1, but I bet number 3 is gonna be pretty good. They went to go see number 3, made a lot of money, but a lot of people were disappointed by 3. And then since then, people stopped caring about National Treasure. John Carter didn't do that good. Tomorrowland got lukewarm reviews. So
But they do got Star Wars
sad.
coming out later on.
But that's because it's Star Wars.
Yeah, that's true there. But that Gargoyles
That's
one
probably.
though.
I bet what they're gonna do is. Sorry, I'll go to Gargoyles in a second. But I bet the Star Wars thing, it's probably gonna be like they're not even gonna probably put the Disney logo in front of it. I bet that's just gonna be kind of like Lucasfilm division.
Yeah, I think it is sort of like its own kind of section. It's not like Disney Studios or anything like that. But really quickly, I want to say this on Pirates of the Caribbean because I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, for all the success that Pirates of the Caribbean was, why was there no other pirate movies that came out afterwards again?
There's the Pirates porn.
Yeah, there was that one. That's the only one we got.
I think. Well, I'm trying to think.
I mean, like there might be some C grade movie, but if there was a time to capitalize on the pirate genre once again, because really the pirate genre is something that's been dead for like 50 years until Pirates of the Caribbean came out. Because they made something like, there's Cutthroat Island in the 90s that was pretty good. And then, like Pirates of Dark Water, there's a TV show. I can't even think of like too much stuff until you get back to the 60s where you had Treasure Island, or that might even been the 50s. And then you have the golden age of pirate movies in the 30s and 40s.
I think it's probably more one of those things where it's like it was probably big, like not big, but I mean, people were more taken from inspiration in tone and vibe from the movie actually than like where the movie was taking place or anything. You know what I mean? Everybody was trying to make this big, grand, fun, historical adventure kind of movie, and kind of give that sense of like swashbuckling and all that. But none of them actually went to the whole pirate thing. I mean, if I think about it long enough, I could probably think of one or two.
See, I can't even think
pirate
of one
movies.
or two that came out like since Pirates.
Pan is coming out. Pan's coming out, but
That hasn't come out yet, though.
I,
No, and that's what I'm talking about. Not like
out.
ones like that. Like somebody who was going to take the pirate movie to the next level and go, here's a fucking full-on, serious, rated R pirate movie where people are getting like stabbed and cut and eaten by sharks, and it's violent and people are backstabbing each other left and right, and all kinds of stuff's going on, all sorts of mayhem. Like a full-on pirate film. Where like don't get me wrong, like the first, like the Pirates of the Caribbean, I really like that one a lot. Love that first one. But it'd be cool to see somebody take it to the next level. Like, well, here's like, your violent, like, keep it like a nice, serious story, not like maybe like an exploitation pirate film, but something where it is like, this is the true, gritty, real story of pirates.
I think, I don't know if it's still going on. I think Michael Bay was
each other at night, like drinking like ale. Like,
bored. Bring the stable boy. No, Lord Blackbeard, no. Like you wanted it raw, you wanted it gritty. Here you go. 45 minutes of that each episode.
Yeah, well, not like a TV show, like a movie.
One of my favorite, this is gonna go off topic for a second. Rick and Morty. There's a part where there's this Rick makes this theme park inside of a homeless guy, and at some point, like Morty walks by, he's just like, Pirates of the Pancreas. And he's all like, hey, that's my prize. That's my baby. Okay, sorry if I seem a little defensive about it. I just really like that one, and they had trouble getting through like marketing, And then later he's talking to like somebody else.
Is this the one you mentioned last episode?
I don't know if I mentioned this. No, I don't think I mentioned this episode. I don't know if I mentioned on the show, but then at some point he says something to the effect of like, yes, there's plenty of attractions, like the Haunted Spleen, Pirates of the Pancreas. He says like, hey, watch it. At some point, then he says like, hey, I know you're about to die, but before you do, just go on Pirates of the Pancreas. We don't whitewash it. They're very rapey.
I think you did mention that literally on last episode or the episode beforehand, one or the other.
Really? I know I mentioned the attempt suicide bit, but I didn't know I mentioned that part.
But that's one of those ones I just thought about. I'm like, why is there like no pirate movies? Really, no pirate movies at all. And you like some, it's like, dude, that's just like, especially if you would have made a pirate movie when Pirates of the Caribbean was really big. I mean, hell, they got the 5th one coming out pretty darn soon. Like, it's another chance to throw another pirate movie into like the Foster there. But I don't know why nobody's jumping on board that.
Maybe Disney maybe that mouse put hits on people. Anybody's starting up a pirate movie, like, okay, they could have TVs, they could have video games, whatever the fuck. No movies. That's us. And starts with the.
Just start strutting around the office. But
that's the businessman dominance thing.
But going back to like Gargoyles, though, it's like that show in itself, just like fantastic story. I mean, like it's like you even got like death in it and dark and all this stuff that's like you just don't really actually expect to see in a show that's generally intended for children. It really reminds me like, and that's like what made a lot of '90s animation great, as I think as they started writing TV shows for adults, they just toned them down just enough that a kid could watch it.
I think that was the big change, because you look back at like Spider-Man, X-Men, Batman, Gargoyles. There's like even Real Adventures Johnny Quest. They all were shows that they were potentially made for kids, but when it gets right down to it, they kind of they had no problem making it a little heavier, a little darker, and people actually dying, having consequences. Literally an episode of like Batman where there's like the girl who has like, she's not a little girl, but she has like some kind of like dwarfism disease or something, so she can't grow up, and she's seeing all these images of herself and she never grew up, and she's shooting all the mirrors, and then like literally it ends with her going up to Batman and just crying, just like that's how it ends.
And well, I think that's just the thing though, it's like they're not making the TV shows generally for kids, they're making it for adults, but then you just pull it down just enough that you're not making it too dark or too violent or something like that, just enough so a kid could handle it. Where, because a lot of shows in the 80s, and that's why I think is like just watching so many cartoons from the 80s. You know, there's the ones I liked a lot, but you'd watch a lot of them, and even as a kid, you'd be like, this is fucking stupid. But I think it might be because I was used to watching things like Batman and Spider-Man and Gargoyles and all these ones like that. You know, it's kind of like, okay, I like G.I. Joe, but that show used to always still make me angry all at the same time. It's like, it's almost, maybe I like the characters, and I always hope that one of the episodes they'd finally not just like go, ha, we easily did that again, and then, you know, just have it end. You always just kind of like, when's the time that like some shit's gonna really go down in this fucking show, and they're not gonna get, you know, so some of those guys are gonna not get out of it alive and stuff like that. You're like waiting for those.
They don't just it's like stand there with their hands on their hips or whatever, you know, like something happens, like, you know, like the silly fat guy falls over, like, oh, maybe we'll get some pizza. Whoa, just falls over.
Like, oh, Bill, you're always just
roadkill.
Fuck.
Yeah. Roadkill, you ate all the fucking pizza again. I don't know if there's a character named Roadkill, but just see Road Rash or something like that.
That just sounds like if there's like a Twisted Metal like children's cartoon show.
There's the Mortal Kombat one, which was trying to be like G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I do remember that one. And then there's like the weird like early CG version one too. Remember that one?
Sonya.
It was like creepy. I have a copy.
Sonya Blake had a weird catchphrase. I think she's like, every time before she would go like charging in to like battle somebody, she's like, it's rumble time or some bullshit like that, like trying to like keep like a catchphrase that kids would say or something.
Yeah, those like the shows when you watch that and you go like, okay, this is totally intended for children. Like that's what their goal is. There's literally a bunch of guys at Hasbro slapping a sign that just says kids are fucking stupid as they enter like the office each morning.
Like they like slap the sign as they walk beneath it real quick.
Yeah, everybody slaps it on the way in. Kids are fucking stupid. Kids are fucking stupid. Let's get their money. Comes from their parents because kids are fucking stupid.
Like, okay, guys, break for lunch. They just like all like just like pull down a lever, just a big pile of cocaine just drops down the table. They all like a bunch of fucking pigeons just start like crowding around it. Like just like pecking it, like, you
know. But did you finally go and see Straight Out of Compton?
No, that was the plan if today didn't go to shit.
Yeah, don't you hate when those days? I saw that today. Easily going to be top 5 best movie of the year.
Really?
Amazing biopic. Perfect example of one of these movies, too. If you're kind of depressed, it will pull you out of that. Inspirational film right there.
Is it like warts and all?
What?
Is it a warts and all kind of biopic?
Warts?
Warts, well, I mean, kind of, it's honest. Like, it goes over, like, all the heavy shit, you know what I mean? Like, doesn't, like, sugarcoat too much. Not that I know enough about him anyway.
Once again, like, this is about the most amount of information I know about. You know, I mean, I know about NWA, but it's like, I'm not like it. And I know about Ice Cube from his movies. I feel like that's like the ultimate white person thing. Like, well, I know where Ice Cube comes from. He's in that Three Kings movie, right?
He was also in the second Triple X.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, not one of those ones. Like, you know, I know I just, you know, a bit of it, but not like, I'm not like a biographer, so it's like, a lot of this stuff to me was new. Like, it was like, oh, okay, this must be how the story goes. Why would the movie lie? But it's produced by Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, so I'm assuming that, like, it's not like, okay, at one point, give my character fucking robot arms. Why? It's like, I don't know, that's cool. Fucking put that in there.
I always wanted to be like the guy in Mortal Kombat, that's why.
I always wanted to be like Jax when I was, you know, 25. So it's like there wasn't one of those moments in there where you're like, did this really happen? Did Ice Cube at one point just get robot arms?
Did he just really fight off all the cops when they were trying to storm in when they were playing Fuck the Police?
Yeah.
Like, Ice Cube single-handedly took out all the cops in LAPD.
Like robot arm. He just did like an old-fashioned thing, like in like cartoons, where he just spin around in a circle and just knock everybody out of the way, like Ninja Turtles, like in the video game. But no, I kid you not. This biopic is just one of those ones where it's just like an amazing one, great story, like good throughout the whole thing. It's practically almost 3 hours long. Just a fantastic story. They did an awesome job on it. I would say definitely make sure you don't miss that one in theaters, at least.
I'm going to try and see it tomorrow.
I know, I need to do some movie catch-up anyways, because I still need to go see Man from U.N.C.L.E. And I still want to see that Vacation one, even though I know it's on its way out.
That was out of there pretty quickly. That movie kind of came out. I'm like, oh, that's out? It's like, oh, it's already almost gone?
It's still there at the theater here in Sonora for a bit. And I've heard a
Okay.
lot of good things about that one too, but I just haven't yet to go see it.
Well, I've heard like just kind of like lukewarm stuff to bad, but I mean, that's how people. A lot of times we like movies that other people hate. So,
Yeah, I've always kind of learned never to really trust people unless they're like a trusted source.
mhm.
Because average people I don't trust because who knows if they like things. They're picky.
They're picky.
Well, for me, it's like one of those ones like I'm somebody who really likes the Vacation series, so I'm assuming that like I'm gonna hopefully like it. My only fear is just if they try to go too like Judd Apatow type comedy, where they put in a bunch of extreme stuff in there that's kind of unnecessary. Because that's kind of like how a lot. It's like also like how a lot of Seth Rogen ones are. Like sometimes some of the jokes that they throw in those movies, it just feels like they just try to make a joke feel so extreme that it doesn't really come off as like a natural written comedy. If that makes any sense. Like doesn't have that like almost like a Clerks or an Office Space where you're like I can I relate to that. I understand how that kind of comes where this comedy comes from. It doesn't just come from like somebody trying to build a block up this joke just to like who can say the most raunchiest thing.
Oh, you mean kind of like I noticed that because like Seth Rogen and Judd Apatow movies, one of their biggest things are just kind of like it's all mostly spoken comedy, but it's usually just kind of like really, really raunchy or strange metaphors. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's always to me. It just always reminds me like I mean, obviously it works on a certain audience, but to me it just reminds it's like it's not that great of writing. It just feels like somebody just goes back forth, back forth, back forth till we got the raunchiest thing, and then slap down the movie. That'll make people laugh. And it just I don't know. It doesn't feel like natural. I guess it
Mhm.
feels very played. So that's my only fear though, because sort of that influences other movies. So I just hopefully hope that the
Mhm.
Vacation doesn't
So
have.
you're almost kind of like Vacation. I don't want you to hang out with the Apatow boy and the Rogan boy down the road.
Yeah,
They're a
yeah.
bad influence on you.
Stay away.
Just come back
They'll
over
make your
here.
writing go downhill. It's like you want to keep your jokes natural because that's what makes Vacation like like that. Especially when you think about that very first Vacation movie. You watch that movie, and it's that sort of thing where you go like, if you've taken any vacation with like your family before, you've seen those moments, here,
Yeah.
there, or even if they're with other people's families. If you went on somebody else's vacation, you saw those things, and that's what makes that movie I think work really well. And same with Christmas Vacation and Vegas Vacation, and even European Vacation, like they all work well. So I mean I love the concept idea of this fifth one. That's the only thing is I just hope that they don't try to plug in too many extreme jokes here and there or
Hmm.
too much at least. Here and there is fine, but not like where it's just overloaded. Like
Yeah. I actually kind of like not every Judd Apatow movie, but I like Judd Apatow every so depending on the movie. And Seth Rogen, I usually like. I mean, not everything he does is good, but I usually like him. But I kind of see what you mean. He does have a little bit of that humor where it is mostly just kind of like guys improvising back and forth and just trying to top each other, and that can be funny. But I guess sometimes it does feel a little bit more of like I don't know. I guess I like a little bit more scripted. If you can be that quick wit and that funny, that's cool. But I mean, I think you know what I mean when I'm saying this. But
well,
I think it
see the
sometimes
thing
just
too is it
comes
doesn't even feel
a
like
little
it's
more forced. It
it
feels a little
doesn't
bit more
feel like even
forced, I
improv
guess.
because they probably the way if I had to guess the way they do it, they just say this line 15 times and just top it each time, and then you just get to a certain one. That's what the one they like. But like at that point, you've gone so far that it doesn't feel like something somebody naturally would say. I don't know. And Judd
Well, I
Apatow
guess
ones, the
it's
only ones that like the Judd Apatow movies that don't bother me sometimes are the Will Ferrell versions. But I think that's because since Will Ferrell's in it, it sort of changes the style of the movie around. It more converts to one of his type of movies instead of being a Judd Apatow movie.
this. I mean, this one right here. It might as well be a Judd Apatow movie because it has all the crew, but he actually has no involvement with it. It's like This Is the End. I think is a legitimately really funny movie, and that one's pretty good.
Hmm.
Even though it's written and directed by Seth Rogen, that's probably a big turnoff for you.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
but
never
it
strayed me in a
literally
good position so far. So
it does have one of those moments you're talking about, but it actually works off. It works pretty good, because they're all hiding in this house after the apocalypse, and at some point, Danny Mc like Seth not Seth like James Franco. It's like Seth Rogen and Dan McBride are there, and James Franco walks the room. He says like, "McBride, have you been like?" He's like, "You jerked off into my fucking magazine." He's just like, "Yeah, I jerked off in your fucking magazine. There's no fucking internet, so what else am I gonna fucking jerk off to? Like this has like special like memories. Still fucking text. Like, why the fuck do you got a magazine? You got fucking iPads built into the fucking walls. You're jerking it like a fucking caveman. So it's like that kind of like
hmm.
then they're just kind of like it reaches just that point of just kind of like it's funny, but they're just kind of going back and forth so much. It reaches this point where they're just kind of like pantomiming, jerking off at each other. I'll jerk off wherever the fuck I want. Like, fuck you. Just like pantomiming, jerking off at each other. And, it's funny, but it's like, I
That
kind
that
of
one
see what you
sounds like
mean.
it
Which is
works, but like it's just I just think about some of the ones that I've
too
seen.
much of that, though. Too much of that can, like, build,
Yeah, it's almost because
have
the
some
point
more
where like
flair.
yeah, it's almost like they don't have a sting to like the jokes anymore. It just feels like you just sort of expect to hear that, and it's just like, oh, okay, he's just trying hard to be cool or something like that. But
You
speaking
just
of
don't
it,
like Seth Rogen. You
no,
really just
no,
don't.
I really don't like Seth Rogen. I don't think he's funny. I think he's a kind of movie hog.
All
You
right,
know,
so let's give a hypothetical situation. All right, so we sell one of these cartoons that we've been working on lately, and we go to some film festival, and it
and
gets
movie hog Seth Rogen appears.
not he appears exactly, but it's more of like one of these things. Like he just like, so I want to be your movie. Just crowbars his way in. No,
He
so I'm not
literally
even
starts
saying
taking a
that.
crowbar
So
between the two of us.
I'm putting you between a rock and a hard place. I'm giving you a weird ultimatum here. I'd take it because I like him enough. He's not my favorite. He's not like my idol or nothing, but I like him enough. So yeah, fuck it, I'd take it. But one of his people says like, oh yeah, I know someone. He might actually be interested. He could probably help to get this thing off the ground. And then just ends up being Seth Rogen. Now the thing is, Seth Rogen wants to have a character in it, but he's gonna let us mostly have control, but he wants to have a character in it, and wants to produce it and put it on Adult Swim.
See, it's like I don't know because I have this fear that he's gonna movie hug his way into it. That next thing you know, our names will be like based on a somewhat story written by Dunigan and Spencer. Fuck, we don't remember what the fuck their names. They're not important to this. Just like that's all it says at the very for like a split
Rogan the
second.
rabbit. It's like Rogan the rabbit
Yeah, and
rather
he
than
just
like
takes over the
Wallaby
whole
the rabbit.
thing, and he plays like all the characters in it and stuff, and then brings all his friends in and just turns into his own party. See, I have this fear that's going to happen.
He just comes in. He says like, I was gonna take you guys on this offer, and then I listened to this fucking podcast. Yeah.
Speaking of funny lines, though, like going back to like the Straight Out of Compton, there was one line that I thought was just hilarious. Well, there's a lot of good comedy in it, but there's a part where these kids are on the bus and like Ice Cube's in the back writing lyrics or whatever. It's like early on in the film, and they see these
Are they in
gang.
high school?
Yeah, this part is at least early on. And it's like supposed to be like '86 or something like that. And these kids are like, look out the window, there's like some gangsters, and they're making gang signs at them and whatnot. And the gangsters kind of look up and go, yeah, whatever, keep going on. And they keep doing it like just over and over and over. So they pull in front of the fucking bus, pull out a gun, walk inside. They're like, you think it's funny fucking throwing gang signs out at me and stuff like that? He's like, no, I just, just doing it. So he's like, yeah, fucking right. Puts the gun to his head. He's all, you're in school. You should be in school. Now I want you to be going out, all you kids, and gang banging those books right now and getting smart. Just gang banging those books and
Gang banging those books and getting smart.
I was just, that part right there, just gang banging the books.
Gang banging the books and getting smart.
But no, there's just like a lot of like little funny things. And then you got Paul Giamatti in the movie too, just like
I saw he was in there, yeah.
which like you instantly throw him in there, just always makes it it's gonna be something funny anyways, because
he looks. I'm sure it makes sense like historically for whatever happened in real life, but he looks so out of place. Like, hey, fellas, what's going on?
Well, he's literally.
He's the producer.
Well, no, he's
right?
literally the first white guy you see in the movie who's not like an evil cop.
Okay, I can see that.
So the first white guy you can trust is Paul Giamatti.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, he ends up kind of making kind of contracts that nobody else seems to like, but he's just doing his thing. He gets sad. Mm-hmm. He even cries once and just stand there yelling out his window like, "Don't go, guys!" Or he was only one guy at this point. "Don't go, Easy-E. I'll be a good manager next time." It's actually kind of sad. I'm not doing it justice.
Easy-E, I'm going to feel dumb if he was like, is Easy-E, I feel dumb just asking this. So please keep in mind, I don't really keep up with hip-hop. Is Easy-E dead by chance?
Yeah, he is. He's that one guy, like one of the other musician people that died of AIDS, other than Freddie Mercury and a couple others.
I thought he was, yeah. I wasn't 100% sure on that, so. It's like, gee, why did Easy-E help, like, produce this movie? What's his fucking problem?
Well...
What, he's too good to throw down some money for his own biopic? Well, funny you should ask.
What is he, like Alita Ford or something? Like who's like not gonna like be part of the Runaways movie?
Fuck Easy. What's your problem? Well, I'm dead. Oh, okay.
Like I said, well, I'm dead.
Yeah. No,
But
I want to see that one.
go see that movie. It is full on amazing. It will top most of the other movies we've seen this year, excluding maybe a good handful.
Mad Max is my number one at the moment.
Yeah, I'm going between Jurassic World, Mad Max. This movie, I almost might say, might be right up there with those ones. I'll tell you this: I think it's better than Avengers 2. I think it's better than Ant-Man. Well, I said better than Avengers 2. I guess that already topped the Ant-Man part, but I think I'd almost even say it's better than probably Terminator 5, even though I like Terminator 5 a lot.
I like that one too. Yeah. Well, I'm down to check it out, and I'm gonna try and see it tomorrow. Just been.
It's just one of those movies like I feel like it's definitely need to see it in the theaters. I think that'll make a big difference in seeing it too.
Mm-hmm.
Since it's kind of like in a sense like a musical without musical numbers.
That's always a good way if you can do that. If you can make it a musical without actually making it like, if you can actually make it sort of a musical without having to stop just they're driving like, yo, pull up the car. I gotta sing some shit,
Yeah, no, it's not like there's not like any of that, but I just mean there's just so much music in it. It's like The Doors or something like that, like one of those kind of movies. And it's weird, I think about those biopics and like, think how many music bands have had biopics in the theaters. Like I think like The Doors. I want to say the Buddy Holly story was in theaters. I don't think that was made for TV. I think La Bamba was in theaters.
I think they'll
get Ray and Walk the Line.
You'll get occasional, like every few years, you'll get one like really big one.
Great Balls of Fire.
Great Balls of Fire. Ray, Walk the Line. Then they have they had Get On Up, the James Brown one.
Oh yeah.
They had, which everyone tells me it's really good. I wanted to see that one. I missed out on this one. And then you got NWA. I think what's interesting about this is I think as far as I know, I mean, isn't that one the 50 Cent? Oh, Get Rich or Die Trying. Isn't that the 50 Cent story?
Is that actually like a story? I'm not too sure. Like
I thought it just starred him. Someone told me.
With him, it's confusing because he makes things that where it's like him and he's got robot arms and he's fighting crime. And so he's
doing backflips, firing machine guns. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not too sure which one I'm supposed to believe.
I think Get Rich or Die Trying. I think that I heard that's his biopic, but I don't know if it's true. And I assumed when I saw the trailer it was just some drama starring him.
Yeah, because he's mostly always in like a lot of drama movies, anyways.
Yeah. But now he's going through some legal shit, I think. Now he's going through some legal
I heard about that where
I think Painted Black was talking about that.
Yeah, I think that's where I heard it on, whereas he said he didn't have enough money to pay for it, so they realized wait a second, you got way more money than this. He tried to say I just rent everything. That's my lifestyle, is renting. Mm-hmm. And then they tacked on an extra $2 million or whatever to the lawsuit, but I think about those biopics.
Actually, that was Painted Black or Hollywood Babylon. I don't remember which one, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
But you think about some of the other biopics too that they only get made for TV ones. Like you got the Def Leppard one, and then all the Beatles ones too. It's so weird that none of those ones ever went to theaters.
Or a limited release, maybe.
Well, yeah,
ever a major one.
The one, there's kind of like the indie pick one, but that didn't go to major theaters. Backbeat. No.
Wasn't Nowhere Man a limited release?
Oh yeah, that one I think also was too. But what I mean is it didn't go to major theaters, so it doesn't count if it doesn't go to big theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the really good one. I think is the John Lennon story. That's the best of them all, and that's a made-for-TV one. And then you got that sweet Elvis Presley one that they made in 1979, the John Carpenter and Kurt Russell one. And that's a made-for-TV one.
Theaters?
No,
that's made for TV. Oh.
Yeah, but it's just so weird that some of these ones it's how is that not a theater-oriented movie? They kind of push a lot of times biopics to being kind of well, that's for made-for-TV kind of stuff. Or there's that Peter Sellers one, that HBO one that was really good too, but that's not a theater movie either.
Soderbergh did a whole Liberace movie, and then they got cold feet at the last minute and said oh, I don't know if a theatrical Liberace movie is going to sell. I was all right, fuck you, I'll ticket to Showtime or HBO or something. So it was Soderbergh directing this HBO movie.
Well, that's kind of like the Che movie too. Kind of like didn't get to go to like wide release either. I don't even know
They
what the hell the
usually
Che
don't.
period. Well, the Che movie's all in Spanish, so maybe that might like throw people off, at least in the U.S. and putting it out. But
It's like a two. It's like a two-part movie that's like 2.5 hours each.
yeah, I have the big fat like rape edition Blu-ray set of it.
Rape edition.
The Che rape edition. It even came with a Che poster and everything too.
Oh, I'm sure he would have wanted that too.
It's a pretty good one. You should check it out if you ever get the chance. It's long,
I
but
tried. I tried watching the first one and I was sick and I just fell asleep while watching it. It was like he was sick in the jungle. That's what I remember.
well, that's the second one I thought. Where he's sick in the jungle.
Maybe he was walking around in the jungle. He was sick. He was coughing the whole time, and it just like I just ended up falling asleep. And I was kind of sick. I'm like, this ain't making me feel better.
Yeah, Che's sick. I'm sick. Relate.
Yeah. I get your pain, man. I get your pain. Just seeing him fucking like diarrhea, fucking behind a tree. I'm just kind of like in a nice bed with like a heated room. Like, yeah, Che, I feel your pain, man. I get it. Yeah.
Well, it's like the way those
Death
movies
to capitalism.
the way those movies kind of goes, like the first one's like this really good one's like, yeah, like liberate fucking Cuba. This is great. And the second one's like, yeah, you're gonna liberate Ecuador. And then it kind of goes, oh, and well, that kind of went down south quickly. I guess the rest of South America's not getting communism anytime soon.
Doesn't it basically end kind of like he more or less like gets the firing squad? It just kind of ends abruptly shortly after that.
I want to say so. That's one of those movies I only watched it once because it was kind of like, yeah, you got to put in like 5 hours to really get that full experience. Like you kind of have to watch both of them. I don't feel like they're separate movies. It's more just like literally like part one, part two.
I was visiting Ashland one time, and I remember seeing it was just like part two playing. Like, it just totally snuck. It was like in some random little like art house theater. That's all they really had there, just an art house theater. But I was just like walking by, like, what the fuck? Part two? When did part one come out? So, and I remember seeing it was a Soderbergh movie. So every once in a while, he'll even like just slide by with a movie and just throw it out there, and like I think that's a dude that just really just wants to make movies rather than have the movies be seen. No, I'm not saying that as a slant or anything bad against them. I think he's somebody who really just likes making movies. He doesn't really care who sees it because it's just he'll go from something like that to Haywire to Magic Mike.
Well, yeah, I mean, like he can make a movie that like will be this like huge box office success, and then he can go off and just make a bunch of these, in a sense, hidden movies. Like, like Che's a perfect example of one of those movies. Like, if you asked 100 people on the street if they've seen that Che movie, I bet you very few of them would say yeah. You know what I mean? Well, one, it's like, well, I think it's never going to appeal to like a regular white person because it's like the movie's all in Spanish and you have to watch 5 hours of it. Well, every once in a while, there's parts that are in English, and it throws you off for a second because you just don't expect that to happen, like when he's in the U.S. But
That's how they trick people to go see Inglourious Bastards when like they actually have like all the parts in the trailer. The parts are mostly in English. And I remember like being in a little redneck town, like when are they going to start speaking American again?
Yeah, like I don't. It hurts my brain to read. But like and he makes a lot of those other kind of like hidden films, like, and that threw me off too because I'm like, does Steven Spielberg, does he speak Spanish? Like, I just always thought he was just some like white dude. Like, that's what kind of like it seemed like a strange person to make this Che movie.
It always seems really weird whenever they get like well, I mean, it's still a good movie, but Last Stand, they got Kim Ji-woon to direct this movie that was all English, but he wasn't speaking. Yeah, and kind of like how Sergio Leone directed all those Western films, and he starred Clint Eastwood and other and other like American actors.
Oh,
but he couldn't speak English either.
Speaking of Sergio Leone, you know what I finally found a copy of on DVD the other day in the store?
Duck You Sucker?
No, not that one. That one's easy to come across.
American.
Once Upon a Time in America.
Yeah. I
found like
I still haven't seen
a big fat 2-disc. Well, because the only version I had like a kind of like a funky taped off TV copy of it. That was the one I watched a while ago. But now I found a DVD. I was like, holy fuck, you don't see that every day in the store. Mm-hmm. It was in like Big Lots too, which was kind of a weird place, but.
Well, that's something where I got a copy. I was curious about like a Mexican version of Green Hornet. I was curious. It was $2,
Yeah,
so, no, let's see what this is all about.
Find some good stuff there, but no, I thought it was like, oh sweet. Even though it's like one of those ones I'm like, oh crap, that movie's like 3.5 hours long. It's like, okay, I gotta set aside some time for that at some point.
I noticed that I could sit down and watch like a lot more 3 hour movies than what I used to be able to do. I can watch like or like 2.5 hour movies a lot more better than I used to, and like they kind of go. If it's a really good one, it kind of goes by pretty quickly.
Oh no, yeah, like it's one of those ones like I don't have a hard time watching a long movie. It's sometimes it's more just setting aside the time to watch a long movie. I think is the harder part.
Hmm.
Because I always feel like that's almost like the test to see if somebody has ADD. If somebody can't sit down and watch like a 2 hour long movie, like they have to get up like halfway through and do something else, that person probably has ADD.
Cisco.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's the one you'll be
I
watching.
love the guy. I
You'll be
love the
watching a
guy.
movie for 45 minutes. He's like, okay, guys, what do you want to do now? How about finish the movie that we just started?
Pull up fantasy football on his iPhone, be flipping through that, or
Yeah, it's
something
just
like
like,
that.
oh, yeah, it's just he can't just sit there
I
and,
love the no. I love
and
the dude. Dude's one of my
watch.
best friends, but he does have. Yeah, he does have it. Yeah, you put on a fucking football game.
Well, even that though, he's still flipping through his phone like half the time. It's like he can't sit there and just watch the football game.
We're just shit talking like, oh yeah, you're not even here to defend himself. I feel kind of bad, but yeah, I know what
Well,
you mean. I just
I guess I was just talking, I was more just talking about like people that have ADD, and you had to bring it up as somebody we know. No,
it is me. Yeah, it is me. I'm taking full credit. You know, Cisco, you don't listen to the show that much, so I love you. You know that, but yeah, just put the fucking phone down for a minute.
I know. God damn it, we didn't have phones in the '90s. Remember the good old '90s? Let's go
Yeah,
back to
yeah.
that time period.
Just pull out a big brick Game Boy instead.
Yeah, that at least doesn't look antisocial.
Yeah, that people will double take and like, what the fuck's going on? You know,
I hope he doesn't get angry and hit me with that thing.
that's gonna blow people's minds. It's gonna literally, we're called the Old Man Orange Show, but it really is gonna sound like a couple old men here in a minute. Literally, the concept of pulling out like fire wire, attaching it to one Game Boy, just to play either Street Fighter 2 or to play fucking Pokemon and like trade that right there is gonna bog my mind. Like, you couldn't do that shit wirelessly? No, you couldn't do it wirelessly. Like what?
I know just small things like that where people just won't understand old-fashioned technology.
Like how'd you guys trade it without internet back then? You know,
It was a long, tedious process, and I'm not proud of it.
but we had to do what we had to do to survive. Get all 151 if you had that one friend who got the special one.
I still got the. I am the special friend now who's got the Mew that was been like pretty much like a sad dog that's been traded off like 15 times.
Well, there was a way to do it where there's actually a way to beat the system. So where
You clone
I
them.
don't, you clone them, you turn it off. You turn it like one of you turns it off right when like in the middle of the loading process,
Right when it's
and
trading, I think it's when you would do it.
then that right there you would get it, and you would just be like. So that way you can kind of like trade off and actually, have like something like the blue and the red, but have like the original three starters,
Yeah, you could always do that, or you just what Nintendo always wanted you to do is just buy the other cart and then start trading the Pokemon from that. So
for
you
yourself.
trade yourself.
Yeah, that sounds so sad when you put it that way.
I know it's just like when you got to buy your own second Game Boy and your own trading cable that you're going to use.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No.
Uh, the '90s was a good time though. Back in those
It was
days with Gargoyles and Street Sharks and
making it all sad now. You're seeing the past tense, like it was a good time back when there was hope.
well, it's like one of my favorite films. That Woody Allen won, Midnight in Paris. Like that movie.
That's one of your favorite films?
I love that movie. Have you ever seen that one?
I never saw. I didn't know. I known you this long. I didn't know that was one of your favorite films.
I mean, like I don't know if it's like it's not like maybe my top 10 or anything like that, but I kid you not, watch that movie though. There is like, it's just such a magically great movie because the whole like concept of it is that you got Owen Wilson, who's pretty much Woody Allen in the movie, and he's this writer, and he's going to Paris because he's like, you know what, this is where all the greats were, this is where they all worked, but you know what the best time was? It was in the 30s, I want to say is what it was. Yeah, no, the 20s, I think. He's like, in the 20s, that was the best time. I mean, all these great writers and artists and all this stuff hanging out there and so on. So when he finally magically gets a transport back to there, he's hanging out with all the people. And through this process, he kind of realizes that everybody kind of goes, no. The 1890s was the best times. That was the golden age. That was the time you wanted to be at. And it's that constant thing that no matter where you are in life, there's always that period that looks so good to you. So I think to us, we look at the 90s like, that was the pinnacle time. Or even the 80s. That's like the other time period was like that. But you almost got to kind of go, maybe you should just look at now, because no matter what, that time has already passed and there's nothing you can really do about it. And even like Owen Wilson, he kind of does this thing. He's like, as much as I look at how great the 20s are, then I think about some things. He's like, I think about having to go to the dentist and not having anything to numb me or anything like that. The guy's just going to pull out a tooth without any care. Like, and small things like that start building up. He's like, I'm kind of grateful for what I have in the future.
Yeah, and like he just goes back. Does Owen Wilson just get back a little like Jetsons, like spaceship fly away? That'd be so awesome. That's how he got there in the first place.
No, it's like a stagecoach thing that picks him up and takes him back in time.
Of course, it's some whimsical, magical shit. It can't just be like Woody Allen's like, here's some fucking science, just like fucking some giant like spacecraft lands down. It's
just like that big statue thing at the beginning of 2001, and he just goes up and like touches it, and it takes him back in time.
Exactly.
It sounds weird. It's almost like a Bill and Ted like movie, but without like Bill and Ted like. Yeah, well, they sort of like learn about history by going back in time. Like it's sort of like that.
Okay, so what would be all right? So I get what you're saying, and I agree because I think about I romanticize about being grown up in the '90s and all that, but I was a kid, and I'm imagining being an adult. If I suddenly was this age now, transported back to the '90s with this, I probably want to have a good time. I'd probably be like, where's my fucking phone? Where's my, you know what I mean? Some of the games that I had, like, some of the games that were really fun back then still would be fun, but other ones would be like, oh, well, just because I didn't know better. This is all we had at the time. Then I plus just the simplicity of, like, having like an MP3 player and not having to carry around a bunch of CDs,
or cassettes and records and so on.
Being able to just, like, being able to listen to it wherever you want, what was I going to say? So what would be if you're Owen Wilson, the Woody Allen character, and you want to go back to the 90s, like 90s, that's where it's at, where you're hanging out with like Wolverine, the Red Power Ranger, the Street Sharks,
is this
the Gargoyles.
Midnight in Paris, or is this Last Action Hero? Because now I'm getting confused.
Oh my God, they're the same fucking movie, aren't they? I'm just not realizing this.
Midnight in Paris is about going back in time to like real people. Last Action Hero is like, that's why I literally think Last Action Hero is the best concept of any movie ever. Because think about it, what is cooler than taking a magic ticket and going into any world you could want to? And like, I would, Last Action Hero is one of the ones, I so wish there were sequels to that movie because just the possibilities are so endless with that concept, you know what I mean? It would make almost for a perfect TV show because in each episode you could go to a different, like, movie or whatever. Even if you just did old movies that didn't have copyrights or something that, like, you could get by.
What if Arnold starts visiting just like, if it was a TV show, it would be Arnold. That would be like some stand-in. But he visits, like... He visits like Thelma and Louise. He says like, "I got it from here," and like just like starts taking out like all the cops coming after him,
just like in the back of the car. No, but instead it's the Arnold from Terminator 2. He gets taken out of that movie and he's just transported through different movies. Think about that. A Terminator, like you got good Terminator, and now he's just going through different movies.
Yeah. Who wouldn't want to watch that? Oh my God, that one. This would be sort of like we've kind of already seen this, but I think it'd be more of a battle. It wouldn't be as much of a hunt. It'd be more of a battle. Terminator 2, Terminator versus Predator.
Yeah, like how sweet would that be? Like, and it's all due to fucking Danny and the Golden Ticket, or really his uncle.
Mm-hmm. Was it his uncle, or was that just some random?
I think it's just some random.
I think it was just some random old man. He's just like, "I'm gonna die alone soon, boy. Take this ticket."
Danny, you want to come upstairs and rub some hot lotion on me? Well, it's not really hot lotion; it's hot butter from the popcorn machine, but it feels real good.
Feels good on I got my joints are really sore. I need soft hands. Soft hands.
Danny, all those movies that I let you see, they're not free now. I know you got to put up the hobos and the jerk-off Johnnies that kind of come in, but...
You notice how I never ask you for payment? It's not because that I don't need the money.
Far from it. That hobo guy brings in more money than you think.
I need something else. I think it's really took.
I need something that only
there's certain spaces I can't reach by my joints. I just can't reach around. You understand, Danny? Just like, Ben, this is getting really creepy. His name was Ben or something, I
I think
think.
so.
This is Ben, I'm just gonna go. Like, why leave so soon? It just turns like really fucking dark. He has to fucking run to like the fucking projector. Fucking Arnold jumps out, beats the fuck out of this old man.
He's just like, when I met Houdini back in the day, he said that if I wanted this ticket, I just had to come in the back room with him for 15, 20 minutes. And, like a good boy, I did. Because that's the way America was back then. If you wanted something as a kid, you
You gotta suck a dick.
there's no getting around it. And it wasn't considered gay back then because, if you mentioned the word gay, you got beat up.
This was
Sometimes
just standard.
hung.
This was just standard bartering back then.
Because Houdini said that when he was in Tibet, he had to spend 15 to 20 minutes with some guy there too. It's these magic tickets, they don't just come out of nowhere. They'll just grow on a tree now, Danny.
I'll tell you what does grow though. What does grow?
Yes,
The eager mind of a young boy with not very much experiences by this point in his life.
But that really is like the concept of
Oh
Last
God,
Action
I feel
Hero.
bad.
I know, just
I
make
feel bad.
like one of my favorite movies and one of like the most nicest like old men in a film ever. Just it's like the little old rapist.
No, I'm still like up for the a midnight and I don't know what would be
So
a
wait,
midnight.
we have two concepts going on. We got Midnight in Paris, where you go back in time. You pretty much just go back in time to an area where you're hanging out with real people. And then you got Last Action Hero, where you go into a movie where you can go hang out with fictional people.
I'm saying make it where you're hanging out with fictional people, yet treat it like a midnight in Paris.
So
Just
so
kind of
it's
like
more
hanging
like
out.
you're hanging out with Wolverine and the Terminator, but it's not like any action's going on. You're just kind of like talking about the work that you guys do and the new book
Yeah, and then maybe
the new
a
book
bum
you're
fight.
writing.
Yeah, maybe that, or like a fight happens, like like a bar brawl happens every like once in a while, something like that, or it happens, but it's more of just like like fucking the Power Ranger talking about like what man, I used to be so inspired for this, but now I'm questioning what it's all about. Back in the '80s, man, that's when it was awesome. That's when it was happening. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then like once in a while, like some fucking some action would happen. Like, oh, let's go beat the fuck out of some guys. Yeah, run off screen, do it real quick, come
There's some
back. All
funny men
right.
over there. Let's go get them.
Wolverine's like, get over here, bub. Yeah.
Best voice acting job ever.
Really?
Yeah, dude, think about that. Like, if somebody said, "Hey, Ryan, come in here and go," boo!
Oh, I think you meant like my Wolverine bub. I was like, oh, really? I was just
Oh,
kind of
you
winged.
thought
Okay.
that was real good?
Gee, really? Maybe there will
No,
be an
that
episode
fucking
next
sucks.
week. Oh, never mind.
Okay, well, that rooftop's
I
looking
guess this is the
swell
last
again.
episode, probably.
Suicide, because it's funny.
Da 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 da.
But okay, well, okay, you get two choices. No. Two things are going on. Pick one movie that you can go into, or video game. No, let's just limit to movies, or else that makes possibilities too much. You got one movie you can go into, and then one time period, and you pick who you're hanging out with in the real world. So one's a Midnight in Paris, and one's a Last Action Hero.
All my movies are places. All my favorite movies are places I probably would not want to go in the first place because a lot of death happens, and I'm just gonna like get in the way of the hero. I'll be like the bumbling fuck up,
People are like, I'm the comedy sidekick.
I'll be like Batman's fat, funny friend who just fucks everything up, So
You can maybe go into Superman and you just knock out Jimmy Olsen and fucking show up for the job.
I strangle Jimmy Olsen to death in the bathroom and just like steal his identity. Oh golly, Superman, who the fuck are you? I'm Jimmy Olsen. I'm like, you look Irish, okay? So this way,
yeah. You know how to operate a camera, don't you? Do I ever?
All right, just 5 steps back, okay, at all times.
Here, have a watch. Just watch. It'll start beeping if you get closer than 5 steps to me. I'll know.
Yeah, like if you need help, like go ahead and push the button and I'll be there because, it's my job. I got to. But do not get closer than 5 steps. Superman likes his privacy. Okay! And, we keep the talking limited, all right?
He's like, well, if you need help, take this card. Just gives a card for, Iron Man.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with this.
First. Call this guy first, okay?
Don't even, Batman, no. Go to the other side. So what movie would you go with, though?
What movie?
Because sometimes it's not necessarily almost your favorite movie, but what's the movie world you would love to live in?
Movie world I'd love to live in. Well, I'll get to the movie world I'd love to live in first. I mean, a second, because that's going to take me a minute. I guess in my Midnight in Paris, maybe I might be dead within a week, but traveling around with Iggy and the Stooges when they were first starting off.
So late 60s time period or early 70s?
Well, maybe not actually. Well, not really. Maybe not probably early 70s. Not right when they're starting off. Probably more when he's doing stuff for Lust for Life and whatnot. So not after Iggy and the Stooges, but right after Iggy and the Stooges. Maybe around then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Travel with the Rolling Stones during Exile on Main Street and Beggar's Banquet. Something to that effect possibly. I'll probably dead in a week, but I mean,
it'd be worth it.
Seeing the world, hanging out with them, you know what I mean?
I mean,
so that's
it's better than that rooftop I've been standing on,
Just looking out every day, just thinking.
Somewhere out there,
neath the pebble line. Now we're gonna get.
Somebody's all shut the fuck up there, you fucking faggot!
Okay. Sad thing is, it's the gay dude on the top floor yelling that.
You're but I was just expressing my inner sorrow. He's yeah, well, you can go express that when... Fuck you! Dude, we all got inner sorrow. Who do you think you're better than all of us? Mr. I think...
Keep me up. I fucking hate singing mice. I fucking hate singing mice. Don't you remind me of that.
When they did the live show of Fievel Goes West, I was there. But I wasn't there for the entertainment. I was there to punch a fucking mouse in its face once it got off stage.
Just this guy, just in a fucking beat up Chevy Nova, just in the parking lot, just hands firmly around the steering wheel.
He's got a couple brass knuckles on.
He's just walking out of the actor is still in the big giant foam suit, not even out of in his street clothes, just walking out as a big foam suit. You're see you tomorrow, Tommy. Doesn't even say anything, just smiles, waves. This is the pantomiming thing. Just cartoonishly, he's walking to his car, swinging his arms.
And this guy, just this Nova, he's funny. There's a strange Nova over there. Huh? Don't mind that now. Keep walking.
Just keeps on walking to his car, and then also as he's fiddling with the keys, as the guy's walking up to the mouse, he's not even saying anything. He's doing the whole thing, the expression, the over expression, hands, hey, what's going on? And puts the guy's pulls a baseball bat out, puts his hands on his hips, now why would you do that?
Just starts beating the shit about it, just in this dimly lit parking lot with nobody else around him. It's got a nice wide-angle shot on it, so it just seems these are the only two that are here.
He then grabs him by, the scarf and whispers in his big ears, you should have never left Russia, you Jew fuck. Hits him one more time and leaves. The guy's just
I'm just an actor. He's not when you're in character. When you're in character.
Well, you're a really good actor. You maybe want to go to the next stage and just beating the ever living fuck out of you even more.
But what movie are you going into? It wasn't Fievel Goes West. I remember that.
All right. So okay, let's get. All right. So, I'm gonna finalize my answer.
So Iggy and the Stooges.
It's a cross, but it's. I'm saying it's. I don't know which one I'm gonna land on. Maybe Rolling Stones. I think about if I'm hanging out with. Going on tour with Iggy Pop during early stage of his solo career, possibly that. I think there would be more of more one-on-one Iggy time. But then I think the Stones, though, I'm more of a fan of their music. So even though I love Iggy Pop, more of a Stones fan. And that's maybe when they're like doing like Exile on Main Street, like that kind of stuff, and going on tour. So that would be. But I think things would be so fucking chaotic. But at the same time, I don't know. It'd be an interesting story to tell. Oh yeah, this one time I time traveled with the Rolling Stones. So.
Yeah, I think that it's like, yeah, it's like if you just went there, you just for some reason they just like let you come hang out. Like nobody could ask any questions. Like, why is this man from the future hanging out with us? Even though that'd probably be kind of cool. Like, you're a man from the future. That's pretty fucking cool.
Right. So, how many people do I have sex with in the future? It's like, well, I never met you in the future.
You never met me
It's
in
like,
the fucking future. We're not friends. We're not gal pals. No. Why would we be gal pals? Oh, and I was wondering if I was gay in the future too.
yeah, I don't know. That may have changed. It's this '70s. It's a very strange time, man.
Oh,
Very strange.
sometimes I
time.
don't know what each day is gonna bring.
Every new pile of coke is a new experience.
You want a pile of coke to take home? Do they got that in the future? Yeah. I guess they still have it in the future. Oh, well, that's nice.
It's good, just to get nostalgic.
Well, I'll make you a little doggy bag anyways. You can take it with you.
yeah. Oh, here's this. He like gives you just walks up, puts a little like sticker on your chest. It's like the Rolling Stones thumb. It's like my day with the Rolling Stones.
uh,
I guess that would be probably Rolling Stones.
so Rolling Stones you're going with?
I'm leaning on Iggy Pop. I'm just leaning on the song "The Passenger" and kind of going with the imagery that I would imagine comes with that, which is like traveling across country with Iggy Pop, woo, But now I'm just like maybe the Stones. I'm leaning on Stones. Stones in like the early '70s. Now you do yours, so it gives me time to think of mine.
Okay, if I had to do my Midnight in Paris one, and I was going back in time to go hang out with some artist, what I think I'd do is I'd go back and I'd hang out with Errol Flynn. I think that would be my choice. Now I'm
I should
contemplating,
have seen that come.
should I do it like at the time period where he's on high adventures before he's in the movies yet, and he's just traveling around the world and enjoying every little aspect of it is, from the good to bad to the ugly parts of it, or do I go hang out with him when he's in his movie career and that part? Because strange enough, like when you read his book, the most interesting part of it is before he even did a single movie. And I love his movie so much, but like just his life before it was just this extreme high adventure, like that kind of lifestyle that you almost feel like doesn't even exist anymore. Like nobody, I mean, somebody probably does, but in general, people just don't have that extreme, like, we're on a boat, we got a gold mine, we lose it all, and then next thing you know, we got another ship going on, and I got a team of slaves, and we're going to go out on this adventure, and then we lose all those guys, and my buddy gets eaten by an alligator, and all this stuff happens, just like that extreme thing. We're traveling all the way around the world through China during the beginning of World War II, and so on, and all the way up. Or do you go hang up the movies? But that's where I would. Probably safest wise, is you'd go hang out with him in Hollywood in like the early or late 30s, early 40s, like the prime time of those movies. One of my favorite times for film, I would say that. And now, now we go to our last action hero question.
Our last action. I think I landed on it. And I'm not sure. I think I would still be fucking up a little bit, but I think I'd probably get along with them. I think I'd be the middleman. I think I'd be the one kind of like bringing everyone together, or everybody would just hate me. Now, this is more of a series, but there was a movie of it. The Cowboy Bebop.
Ah, there we go. I was questioning if I should say, like, if there's a rule between animated and non-animated, but maybe we could just do one of each. Why not? For fun. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that, I guess that would be, I might as well, if you're going to go to another world, then you might as well just make it kind of cool and interesting. I guess maybe that one, because that one would be, interesting cast of characters. Space, go to planets, interesting cast of characters, and I feel like I kind of know those characters and how they react well enough to the point where, like, I could be the mediator, cause them to kind of get along a little bit better, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be the guy that kind of, like, walks on, studio audience like, woo, yeah, you know, they're like, hey guys, what's going on, you know?
You end up like fucking strangling Ed in the back room, being like, "This is my role now."
Yeah. Fucking wear her scalp with fucking red hair. Yeah. No, I'm like the guy. Like I walk in, like it's just like within the show. It's apparently the show favorite, like not within the show, like when like the show favorite of the guy comes in, like oh yeah, everyone likes him, but the audience hates him. Like fuck, why they write this character in here? You know what I mean?
Like, we don't like this guy.
Kind of like this guy is killing the momentum of the show. It's kind of like that episode of like South Park when like there is like the weird like there's the weird like dinosaur thing. The blah, 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 blah,
It's
just
like
the most annoying
cool
thing in the world.
Like the only Cartman was the only person that liked him.
Yeah, and it was like whenever he walked in, like whenever like that thing walked in, the audience would cheer like woo yeah, but the actual everybody else hated it.
The show just hated him.
Yeah.
It was just the most obnoxious thing ever. I think they said they created it because it was like based on Jar Jar Binks, just like let's take it to the next level of creating literally the most obnoxious character you can think of.
I remember like didn't they do some like one of they just like randomly give birth to another one, just like shoot it across the room, slam into something.
Yeah, like it just like hit the wall. And they started overpopulating it. I can't remember what the thing was called. But Carmen's like, "Oh, so cool! Come on, guys, he's like so funny and everything." Well, if I had to pick,
it'd be kind of like that.
I'll say this: if I'm going to do two, I'm going to say if I had to pick an animated world, I would choose Green Lantern, because as long as I get to have a ring and go hang out with Hal Jordan and the rest of the gang, that's what I'd pick there. Because then you would have all sorts of space adventures. But then if I had to pick a realistic or like a live action film, and I had this already. I lost it once I started. Once you said cartoons, then I started thinking of other things.
Well, I love that case. I'm going to say mine. Mine's basically just the same thing, just only live action. Probably the crew of the Serenity.
Oh yeah,
still the same thing.
Still the same.
On space adventures. Probably at some point, like be a total fucking pig and try and fuck Kylie. But yeah.
Just like fucking get her in the back of like the chamber.
not like against her will, not like dark like that. Like, hey, what are you doing?
Next, I'm gonna get Malcolm while he's asleep. He wakes
up. And watch.
Hey, Ryan, what's going on? Close your eyes. Turn around. Take that mirror out of here. Like, I didn't realize that Ryan's goal was just to fuck everybody on the Serenity ship. It's almost like a horror episode where this time traveler from a different dimension comes in and just rapes everybody. Nothing I was thinking of, but
the time boner, not really what I was looking at. No, it's the only way I get enough. I have to get enough fucking in me to charge up and go back into the past.
I gotta get 10 good rapes in, and then I can go back to my own time.
I'm sure that's like some anime hentai somewhere in I'm sure it's a hentai somewhere in fucking Japan. Yeah, then I'm saving Shepard for last.
Okay, if I had to pick a live action movie to go into, I always feel like the best ones to go with is something in space, because then for a fact you're not getting anything you could see in real world. You can go for like your favorite movies, but sometimes those ones like, well, that takes place somewhere that like, yeah, you get to hang up with those characters, which is the cool part, but you're like, that doesn't seem too different than real life. But space, like you think about like something like a Flash Gordon Worlds or something like that, where you're like, or even just Star Wars. It's like one's like really can't go wrong there. It's like, who would not want to go to Star Wars and be a Jedi? But most likely you get up being Star Wars. You're like, okay, now you got to work this cantina. Do I get learn about the Force? Force? Fuck it, no, you got to work this fucking poor people drinks. God damn it.
You're a fucking bar slave now.
Well, don't I get paid for this?
Also, you're also working like the alien like glory hole in the fucking restroom. No, the one thing though is the reason I picked because Star Wars sounds cool, but Star Wars I guess it sounds so fucking broad and so big. You just get dropped off there. God knows.
God knows where you're gonna land.
Where I feel like, like in Serenity, it's kind of like, oh, well, we just hang out with the Serenity crew or the Cowboy Bebop crew. We kind of just hang out with them, and just try not, try to keep up with them. You should be good. The second you realize, oh wait, they're running out of stories, I gotta get the fuck out of here because I don't, like right when it seems like okay, it's heading towards the movie. This is where people start dying. Okay, bye guys, I'm fucking gone.
Bay.
Yeah.
You just disappear out of there. You know what would be another one would probably be like the way to go is X-Men, as long as you got a mutant power that wasn't crappy.
Mm-hmm. As long as you had a mutant power that wasn't crappy. Well, the mutants themselves have. I'll be honest. Well, no.
No, because some of those ones have bad powers, and that's why they live in the sewers. I don't want to be one.
Yeah. I'm going off the. I don't really read the comics that much, but yeah, is that some of the Hellfire Club?
No, the Hellfire Club are like those kind of like
the yuppie.
No, they're the ones. They're called the Morlocks.
Eyes wide shut. Okay, yeah, kind of shit. All right. No, I get what you're saying.
If you had to go into any Tom Cruise movie, what?
Tom Cruise movie. Well, I mean, Tom Cruise is there, so Tom Cruise will be getting all the action. Tom Cruise, you're just there. You're his bumbling sidekick or his arch nemesis in any movie. There's only really one movie where I can think of where Tom Cruise isn't like really the.
If you're in Mission Impossible, you could probably take over the Simon Pegg role.
Or I can be.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of
Emilio,
which,
Emilio Estevez.
I take my movie thing back. I know what movie I want to go into. It sounds weird, but Scott Pilgrim. If you get those powers like that.
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, I take mine back. Scott Pilgrim as well.
That one would be the sweet area to be at, because then it feels like, a regular person like Scott can have powers. Why can't I?
That's a good point. Scott Pilgrim, I totally forgot about that. That makes sense.
Well, that's probably good. If we go on any longer, we'll just go off in these, like, drifting tangents of, like, outer space. Of, like, yo, man, you could go to, like, one Brad Pitt movie where you're not his bumbling sidekick. You're actually going to be, like, his love interest.
But you're a chick, What chick?
You're a chick. I mean, like, you got your brain.
What universe would you be? It's like your brain instead of a hot chick's body. Like, what chick would you be? And what universe would you be? And if you smoked a cigarette, which brand of cigarette would it be?
But no,
I'm just saying. These are the questions that keep me up at night.
Exactly. Well, that's probably a good place.
Well, folks, I want to say real quick, if you did sit through this whole thing, thank you, because I feel like I just totally slept through this whole episode. So if you're still here, thank you.
Because I'm not too sure if I'm still here.
Yeah.
But, yeah, check out oldmanorange.com for more podcast, animation, videos, and more. And until then, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
We will see you some other time.
Yes, we will. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Check out our website at oldmanorange.com for even more podcasts, cartoons, videos, music, and more. Send us an email at oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review us on iTunes, Podomatic, or any of the other fine sites we might be located on. If you want to help out even more, click on the Amazon or GameStop links on our webpage before you make any purchases there. It won't cost you a penny, but it sends us a little something our way. Thanks again, and tune in next week for more Old Man Orange Podcast.